This video is brought to you by True Tales of Buried Treasure, the largest collection of old treasure magazines in the West. On our website, you can search for individual treasure stories by region, or buy our original magazines themselves. To pay us a visit, please click on the link in the description. Enjoy. Some experts believe that 25% of all precious metals and gems ever discovered have been lost. Part of these treasures went down with large ships transporting them through natural disasters, or were buried by those who later couldn't recover their wealth. With the regulation of rivers, many alleged treasure sites are disappearing under large bodies of water. One such site is in Northern California, along the American River, where a huge dam is being constructed. The branches of this river run through deep, narrow valleys, making the area ideal for dam construction. It was also perfect for gold prospecting and hiding the gold that was found. On the South Fork of the American River lies the town of Coloma, where gold was first discovered in California by James Marshall in the winter of 1848. When the gold rush began in 1849, all the tributaries of the American River were overrun with miners. It's estimated that during the California gold rush, more than 50,000 miners prospected the state's streams and riverbanks. The north and middle forks of the American River were particularly crowded with mining camps. Thousands of items were undoubtedly left behind by these prospectors. Once the new dam is completed, the backwaters will extend over 20 miles, covering all of these old camps. Any efforts to explore the treasure sites in the area will have to be immediate, as the land along the lake's edge is being sold for housing. In one particular location around Volcanoville, a ghost town now, but once a bustling community during the gold rush with a population of several thousand, including 5,000 Chinese miners, there are known treasure sites. At least 3 events may account for 15 or 20 different treasure sites in the vicinity of the old town. The Chinese miners were disliked by the white miners because of their slow but effective methods of retrieving gold. They patiently worked every inch of ground, even reworking claims abandoned by the white miners. From these overlooked claims, they extracted thousands of ounces of gold left behind by those who were too greedy and hurried to gather more riches. The Chinese miners often formed companies and divided their gold among themselves as they accumulated wealth. Each individual was responsible for his own share. Distrusting the white man and his banks, the Chinese miners would place their gold into opium bottles or other small containers and bury them near their camps. One tragic event occurred during the 1870s when a group of miners got drunk at a local saloon, then rounded up several Chinese miners and drove them into a cabin, setting it on fire. When the Chinese miners tried to escape, they were either shot or forced back into the burning building. None survived. Some old-timers claimed that 7 Chinese miners were killed, while others said as many as 15 perished. Whether they carried their gold with them or buried it near their cabins, several treasure sites likely exist as a result of this massacre. Another incident took place in the 1890s. Some Chinese miners were working along the middle fork of the American River, digging for gold. While a group of 12 was working in their excavation, the sides of their dig caved in, burying them alive. They suffocated before their fellow miners could rescue them. The buried gold from these tragic events remains lost, hidden somewhere in the wilderness around Volcanoville, waiting to be discovered. The gold that the Chinese miners had already mined and buried is still waiting to be discovered by some fortunate treasure hunter. However, not all the gold buried around Volcanoville was left by miners. Several Chinese men had other occupations. One such man ran a prosperous general store. After making his fortune, he sold his holdings to another Chinese businessman, left the gold country, and returned to China. But in case he ever wanted to return, he buried part of his gold before leaving. Years later, he did come back to Volcanoville to retrieve his hidden treasure. However, during his absence, the town had burned down, and all the landmarks he used to identify his cache had vanished. Despite numerous attempts over the years, he never found his gold. It's likely still buried somewhere around Volcanoville, waiting to be unearthed. These incidents occurred within the old town site, but Volcanoville wasn't the only place where tragedy and murder left hidden treasures. Many mining camps scattered along the American River contributed to the lore of lost riches. The problem for modern treasure hunters is finding Volcanoville itself. The town suffered more than one devastating fire, and as a result, the precise location of the original town site is now lost to history. Anyone who attempts to search for the treasure left near the old town will have miles of riverbank to explore. However, a patient treasure hunter armed with a good metal detector could still strike gold. Additionally, bottle and relic collectors have a good chance of making a find. Occasionally, people come across a few old bottles, but a major discovery is yet to be made. For those adventurous enough to search for treasure at Volcanoville, the best starting point is Auburn, California, located 33 miles northeast of Sacramento. From Auburn, California State Highway 49 leads to the small town of Cool, where the paved road turns left toward Georgetown. In the heart of Georgetown, a left turn onto a paved highway leads 9 miles to a dirt road marked by a sign pointing to Volcanoville. From there, it's another 9 miles to reach Volcanoville. Fortunately, the county highway department maintains the road, making it accessible to any car traveling to the town site. However, it's essential to note that the entire town site is now private property. To hunt for treasure, visitors must first obtain permission from the owners, Mrs. Fraser and her son Jim. They are known to be gracious hosts, especially considering their long-standing connection to the town's history. When Jim was a child, his father and uncles told him about the Chinese miners who were burned alive in the cabin. Mrs. Fraser herself remembers the old Chinese man who returned, crippled with arthritis and relying on 2 canes, searching for the gold he had buried so many years before. As a young girl, she would watch him hobble along, determined yet unsuccessful in his quest. For years, Mrs. Fraser kept a newspaper clipping about the 12 Chinese miners who were buried alive in their mine, another tragic incident, adding to the mystery of the area. The Frasers' interest in the treasure stories has never faded. Their memories of the old mining days continue to attract serious treasure hunters to Volcanoville, all of them hoping to uncover the lost riches hidden beneath the soil. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to read the original article or purchase the magazine from which it was taken, please check out our website, truetalesofburiedtreasure.com.